Tony.
Hi Jeff, how are you doing?
Not bad, good to see you. As you can see, I've been collecting a few more bits.
Have you? You've been busy, haven't you?
Yeah. Do you know, I've just thought of a great name for our antique shop, the best little antique shop, because we think we've got the best little antique shop, but it's always good to let other people make their mind up and let them see what they think about the bits that you've got on offer.
Yeah, that's true. It's showing people what we've been doing for the last 40 years.
That's right.
You know.
It's funny, you can be understated, you can be in the job for a long time, but not many people know you because we've been a bit cryptic, sort of hidden away. I read an article, it was on the bottom of a chest of drawers on an old piece of newspaper like you find in them, and it said, "He who whispers down the well about the goods he has to sell never makes as many dollars as he who goes to town and hauls." So we spent a long time just whispering down the well. People have never heard of us.
No.
You know, talk about Travago, the best kept secret, being cryptic. That's how we've been. But you know, sometimes being understated isn't a bad thing. Sometimes it's better to be understated than overrated.
That's it. Yeah, I would say so.
So we've got some interesting things that we'd like to show you and to share with you. I've just put this little chair here, so it's something that I found today. I'd like to show you.
Yeah, there we go. We're new to this, so you have to bear with us. Okay.
Well, as you can see, it's a wing-back chair, and it's beautifully turned, as you can see there. But when I first got this, Tony, you know what was interesting about it? It wasn't like this. It was been recovered.
Yeah.
It was covered over the top with a loose covering that somebody had just tacked on with staples.
I remember it.
So I took great joy in ripping it off, because I knew underneath there, Joy of Joys would be something like the original covering.
Exactly.
Although, to be quite frank, I've had a good look at it, and it isn't the original covering, but it's still 18th century covering, because you know how old this chair is, Tony? What do you think?
Is it mid-17th?
Actually, I'd say you're pretty spot on with that date.
Okay.
I'd say about 1680, Charles II period.
All right, okay.
Maybe a little bit early. It's called the wing-back chair. See how the wings, you could almost imagine it turning into a bird and flying, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, why would it be so small? Is it a child's chair, or is it...
Well, that's the thing, you see. Sometimes you do see the bigger chairs, obviously, for adults. But people were a lot smaller in them days, but obviously, I mean, it was never that small.
No.
Even when the Snow White's dwarfs couldn't get on that, it's too small even for them. So I think it was something that would have been carted round by somebody who wanted to sell in the local joiner, because you've got to think what it would have been like back in the 17th century. You wanted a piece of furniture making, where'd you go?
Exactly, yeah.
You've got to go to the local joiner.
Yeah.
And only people with lots of money, the landed nobility, would have been able to have afforded a chair like that anyway.
Yeah, definitely. So you're actually saying it's an apprentice piece?
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's an apprentice piece. Or I think it was made as an apprentice piece, or it was made for somebody who applied his trade to take it round to show it people and say, look, I can make you the bigger version of this. Obviously, this is just to show you what the style of chair.
Yeah.
At the time this was made, this would have still been an innovative type of chair, new design.
Yeah.
To us, we look at it and go, wow, that's old. But you've got to remember, everything's had a beginning, an installation, a genesis, and this is probably the beginning of these type of chairs.
I notice it's got peg joints as well, so that's given its age as well.
Yeah, you can see how they're slightly proud, because over the years they shrunk. You can see the age in the oak as well, and you can imagine that would all be hand-turned on a lathe.
Yeah, but it's not dark oak, is it? It's a lighter oak. Why would it be light?
I think it's been in somewhere where there's been a lot of sunlight, because the sunlight bleaches the wood and makes it light and gives it that effect.
Yeah.
And you can see the tram lines there, look, you know, the way it's chamfered.
That's right.
When I was at the auction having a look at this, it was stuck at the back.
So it was a local auction?
I found it at a local auction, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, a lot of the stuff I like to source is sometimes from charity shops, occasionally, but not often. Clearances, house clearances, other dealers are a reasonably good source. I mean, people like to put things on the internet, and you can even buy on the internet because everybody sees things differently. I might see that as a rare child's chair that's quite unique, but somebody else might just see it as a little child's chair of little value.
So at the auction, I actually seen the chair. I seen the covering on the chair, and I had a gut feeling that it was a period chair. And you taking the later covering off And that covering is what? Dated to what?
Well, I think this covering, it's a floral thing. I think it's probably 18th century, about 18. Well, let's say about 1760, something like that. But the chair's 1660, so it's still 100 years later.
So
But it's still a
been
beautiful
recovered
picture.
twice.
Yeah,
It's been recovered twice.
If we turn the chair over, we can have a look. Let's see if we can get the camera on it and have a good look. So something to one thing in this job, you've got to be a bit of a Sherlock Holmes, haven't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can see the nails there, and underneath that you can still see some tapestry. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
But if you notice, it's different again.
Yeah.
In fact, this tapestry is that old. This tapestry it's like paper. It almost just tears off when you're touching it.
Yeah.
But to think that is still there after all these years. All right, it's a little bit tatty, but it's still in relatively good condition, and it's still good to have something that is as old as that. It's still more or less contemporary.
Yeah. Well, the colours would have been really vibrant, wouldn't they?
Yeah, very vibrant.
Yeah.
Because these would have all been natural animal dyes, but they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They're not synthetic like we have
No.
today.
No.
No.
So it's been well kept as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I found this, I was absolutely ecstatic. I couldn't believe it.
Right.
There's this little chair. I could see it was a wing chair. I could see the legs, so I knew it was early. But what put everybody off from buying it, it was in a horrible 1950s covering that was disgusting.
So you actually seen it?
Oh yeah, I knew exactly what it was as soon as I saw those
I actually seen that myself as well. So, and
joy of joys, I was able to purchase it for very little.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this job. You get people who like going metal detecting, and it's the thrill of the hunt, isn't it? And it just starts to bleep, and you start digging down. Have I got a good find?
Yeah.
And this is why we do it. The nicest thing about the job is being able to find things that are rare. It's not even the monetary value of them. If you're a really good antique dealer,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
I don't even like the word dealer because it seems to suggest that you want to capitalise and make a lot of money out of it. Of course, you've got to make a living.
Yeah.
But it's a preservation of finding things that are really old and then being able to restore them and put them back into circulation. It's a bit like recycling the past.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's about being green, and it's good for your carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And it's good for your mental well-being because, you get up in the morning and you go into, let's say you're going to go to a sale and it's an auction house has cleared a big house, and if you spend enough time there looking at it, getting underneath each piece with a torch, searching it all out, checking it all out, you're always going to better buy one or two pieces that'll float your boat that you'll think, yeah, I'm really glad that I could buy that. So this is one of them pieces.
Yeah. So can I ask the question?
Yeah.
How much did you pay for it?
Do you really want to know?
Well, the customer. Well,
tell you what. Yeah. Let me just think. I think I paid about £40 for it.
Oh, that's a great buy.
It was really, wasn't it? On reflection, had it just been a normal little chair, then £40 probably would have been about the right price for it. But the fact that it's 1680, and let's be frank about it, when are you ever going to see another child's chair as rare as that, with that covering on it of that style?
So that leads me to the next question.
Well,
are you going to sell it?
Probably eventually.
And if you do sell it, what do you think you'll ask for it? What do you think you'll get for it?
Well, it depends on two things. First of all, how I go about selling it.
Yeah, I get that.
And to sell it really, I'd have to photograph it and send it to the wider market and then find people that really appreciate the oak of this particular type.
Yeah.
Because it's a rare chair, there would be a lot of buyers and there would be a lot of interest. I did try to research it, but it was a little bit unprecedented because I couldn't find any child's chairs of this age. Let me give you an example of what I mean. I'm just going to show you something.
Okay.
I'll just dig it out and put that much pieces in the way here. See, I've got another child's chair here that I'd just like to show you. You just bear with me one sec. I'll just get it now. You see? This. See if I can get it into. This is a child's chair.
Try and get it in the view.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Is it elm? Elm seat?
Yeah, I think that's an elm seat.
Yeah.
And it's turned. This is probably about 1840. It's a Windsor type chair, but it's a child's chair.
Yeah.
But you see, you're going to see these again. It's not that rare.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably worth about 100, 250 pounds.
Yeah.
But by comparison, this is 200 years earlier.
Yeah.
A lot rarer.
It's a great chair.
So bringing me back to the point, what do I think it's worth? Probably £2,000 to £3,000, and
Yeah,
I reckon you'd get that fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But I'd have to get a good photograph of it, and I'd have to get it into the right market.
Mm.
And that's the beauty of this job. You just never ever know what you're going to be able to come across and what you're going to find. I've got so many interesting items that we picked up just over the past few months that I'd like to share with you. This is just a pilot video. It's like a prototype, the first that we've ever done. We've never done one before, so this is the first one. So we're going to be posting more online if you like this one. Let us know what you think.
What are you calling
The best little antique shop, but I'll let other people make the mind.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I do like that. Yeah.
Well,
because you've had some really good finds and some really astonishing finds.
Well, we have, and I'd like to share that with the general public, because really what I'd like to do is get people reacquainted with antiques, because they are green.
Exactly.
And you can use them in a modern setting. It doesn't have to be something just because of the age of the computer and everybody goes to IKEA. It's nice to have something that's got history behind it, that's different, that's rare, that makes a statement that you can love. And that's why, you know, everything that we have really tells a story in itself, just like this little chair. It'd be nice to know who would have sat on that.
Well, yeah,
where it would have come from.
Absolutely, that's the history of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I would love to have had more provenance with it, but I haven't got a big letter telling me where it's come from and who made it. But who has? Just the fact that it survived and that I can own it is enough for me.
Yeah, and most of our time is took up research, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you have to research stuff. You can't buy and sell something if you don't know what you're buying or selling, or you can't, because you have to tell people what it is.
Yeah.
Unless I said to you what that was, to most people that'd just be a little chair of no consequences. It was past its sell-by date that ended up on the tip.
Yeah.
But to me and you, it's a diamond.
Yeah,
it's a good find.
It is, absolutely.
And I hope you've enjoyed watching the video, and I hope we've been able to enlighten you a little bit. But if you like it, just let us know. Thank you.